Are you ready for pain? Are you ready for suffering? If the answer is yes, then you're ready.
What if we treated people's weight the way we treated dogs' weight? Now, I know that sounds weird, but hear me out for a sec. So the rule I always heard growing up, and I'm sure plenty of AFAB people did, was that you should always be under 130 pounds. You could be at 130 pounds, but that was the limit, and that was pushing it. And it did not matter what your body type was, what height you were. If you were over 130 pounds, you were horribly out of shape. Now, my family owns a lab mix and a pug. Our pug weighs about 35 pounds, and our lab mix weighs about 80 pounds. Now, if I took those two dogs to a vet and they said that those two dogs should weigh the same, I would go to a different vet. I would laugh at them. Now, those two dogs are wildly different breeds, but even if you take something like a Chihuahua or a Dachshund that's roughly the same height as a pug, 35 pounds is not going to look like on a Dachshund what it looks like on a pug. And maybe this isn't the best analogy because there is a lot more body type variance in dogs, but you see where I'm going here with this, right?
Sometimes people will ask me what I call myself. Am I a stuntman? Am I a comedian? Am I an author, an actor? And you know what I am? I'm an attention whore.
Here comes the hello, welcome, there you are.
So approximately 3 months ago to the date, I corrected my coworker on how to spell my name. My name is Hannah, and there is no H at the end, and that makes a big difference. Big difference, okay? Like, bro, seriously? Like, how much more obvious? How much more obvious do I have to be? Like, I'm just trying to understand. I told you how to spell my name correctly, and yet you insist on spelling it wrong. Like, bro, there's a fundamental problem here. And either this person is incredibly ignorant or they just don't get it. Or both. I don't know. I cannot speak on this person's behalf, but all I gotta say is if you know how to spell someone's name correct, and if you were told how to spell it correctly, then just do it. Just do it. Okay?
Hello, my strange little onions, you ask, so I'm delivering part 11 of creepy conservative men coming into my DMs because they think I'm a woman. This story happened last year. I get a notification that a man on Instagram DM'd me. Hey, cutie, he says. I go to his page to see that he is very political. He says that Michelle Obama is a man because he can always tell a real woman. And there are so many, many posts about him ranting against pronouns. The game is on. Hello, I say. Got a boyfriend? He asks. No, I say. Pretty young thing like you? He says. How's that possible? LOL. LOL, I say. Are you applying? Question mark. Maybe. He says. I see on your page that you just had a birthday. I say. Yeah, he says. 54. Too old? Question mark. Well, I do have a lot of unresolved daddy issues, so this could work, I say. That's what I like to hear, he says. Got any more pictures of yourself? He asks. This is Instagram, I say. If you just go to my page, you can see literally hundreds of pictures of me. Touché, he says. Give me a minute, he says. I wait patiently while he is looking at my page. The bubble comes up, typing frantically. What's wrong with you? Exclamation point, he demands. I told you, I say. I have daddy issues. Why didn't you tell me you were a man? He says. When should I have done that? I ask. You should have it written down somewhere, he says. Well, where? I ask. In my bio? Question mark. Yeah, he says. So, you think I should have my gender listed in my bio. Yes, he'd said. So you think in my bio I should have he, him, male listed? Yes, I do, he says. Well, sunshine, those are pronouns. And I know from your profile you really don't like them. Blocked, he says. He's typing something else. Do you need help finding the block button? I ask. It's really simple. It's right here, I say, right before I block him.
I support women's rights, but more importantly, I support women's wrongs.
I want to start by thanking you for asking this question so politely. This is a pretty heavy topic and a lot of people can be really mean about it, so I do appreciate you being so respectful. I want to start by giving some context on what xenogenders and neopronouns are. The thing to understand about this topic is that gender is a playground. People built the equipment with an intended way of using it, but over time people find new ways to play with this equipment. Some people really enjoy just using the slide as a slide, while other people have much more fun playing with the slide as if it were a waterfall, really letting their imagination run wild. And this is perfectly fine, it doesn't hurt anybody. Our understanding of gender has changed, and it's no longer something we think is determined by your chromosomes or your sex. Gender is much more of a feeling, an experience influenced by culture and language, as well as your personal identity, things you like about yourself, and just who you are as a person. This is where xenogenders come in. They are often used by people who are neurodivergent, meaning they might have autism, they might have ADHD, a personality disorder, or a whole host of other things. These people find it particularly hard to find an identity for themselves because they have a different understanding of the way they view themselves. For instance, I have BPD, which is a personality disorder, and I really struggle to find a sense of self. A lot of my personality is made up of mirroring behaviours because of my trauma, so using a xenogender helps me to find a solid ground with myself and point to something I can say, yeah, that's me. And it might work similarly for people who have autism or ADHD. Xenogenders are often made using hyperfixations. So if a person is hyperfixated on dinosaurs, they might make up dinogender, as they feel dinosaur is much more descriptive of who they are as a person than labels like male, female, or non-binary. It's something that brings comfort and a sense of self, and doesn't really hurt anyone. Neopronouns or new pronouns are things people make up to go along with these genders. And while yes, the pronouns can be used as nicknames, they're also being used as pronouns, so it's okay. A lot of people argue that we're changing language and making things up, but I have to say that people have been doing that for centuries, ever since language was created. Go back to the 1960s and use the words TikTok or Wi-Fi or SoundCloud. They would have absolutely no idea what you're talking about and accuse you of making things up. Go back even further and look at Shakespearean times. That man made up so many words that are now part of our everyday language. Every part of human culture is made up to some extent. And it's not any different with these new genders and pronouns. The fact is, they're helping people who otherwise wouldn't have a sense of self. They provide safety and comfort for many people online. A common argument is that they'll never be used in the real world, and I might agree with that. It's not likely people will use them in the real world, but that's not what's so important. People argue these pronouns are too confusing and don't want to use them, and that's mostly okay. Most people who use these pronouns will have a set of, quote, normal pronouns that people can use instead. You don't have to like or agree with these genders and pronouns, but you can also just be respectful. If you don't like them, you don't have to interact with them. You can just block people who use these pronouns and xenogenders. It's probably better for you guys to stay separate if you're not going to be able to support it. You're entitled to your own opinion on this topic, and it's okay to have ones that are different from mine. Just be respectful and don't harass anyone. All I'm asking, just be kind to people online.
We have colleges, magazines, TV shows, and channels designed just for me.
Everything's been designed for us. White privilege exists.
Yeah, what the fuck I'm gon' fight for? I said light on your block with this light.
What do you mean by that?
talk. What is your problem with me? This is the second time it has happened, and I'm a very angry man. I don't see why it was offensive. I wasn't offending old people. I was offending Gen Z. Damn whippersnappers. Oh my god. If it was the laxative joke, well, maybe you need to start shitting on yourselves. Back in my day, people used to offend people way worse than I did. But the moment that someone has a little problem with me, I get canceled by them? I'm not mad, I'm just very disappointed in you, because you had a chance to let it grow. And it was getting clout too, so I don't know what's your problem. You don't like it big, you don't like it small, and you don't let me grow, so why? Bunch of mad haters hating on the old man.